from a crawled website and how we do it. I'm going to take you through a quick process of how to produce this report about images from a crawled website and the available options that you have. Okay, so this is a crawl of nasa.gov. You can crawl this website with this code. I just crawled 10,000 pages and saved them as a demo, and so we can see how this goes. So the first thing is this is the crawl data frame that we get. All the columns about the website, open graph, JSON, LD, H1, H2. There's a lot of those. So it seems we have 9,900, almost 10,000 rows and 170 columns to analyze. Okay, and then we take this data frame and feed it to this function, the crawlytics.images function, and we get a summary of the images on the website. So let me just spend a moment just to explain what this is. So every image obviously is located on a certain URL, and every URL has multiple images, and that's why you have the same URL duplicated over here. This is just a sample of 5 URLs, no, 1 URL, 5 images, and every row represents an image, okay? And the image has attributes like the image source, the alt, the height, source set, whatever, and in many cases you have it none or empty, but we have every image here on its own row, okay? So we can take a look at how these are distributed. So it seems we have 350,000 images with 16 columns here. So it means we have 15 attributes. So 350,000 over 10,000 URLs, about 35 images per page, which sounds reasonable. We can take the unique number of the source attribute, and it turns out we have 22,000 unique images out of those 350,000, which also comes out to be about 2 images per page. Also makes sense, unique. So now to get a better idea of these attributes and their usage, so this is empty, this is empty, but how many are actually used and empty out of the 350,000? Okay, so this summary tells us about each attribute. So the source attribute is present in 99.9% of the images. The alt attribute is 87% of the times, and so on. So you know how full and how empty each of these columns is. Now, this here is the exact same chart as this one, but this is percentages and this is counts. So for example, we have 305,000 alt attributes out of 350,000. So we have about 45,000 images missing an alt attribute. So we know exactly the size of the work we want to do or the analysis and so on. This is again the same chart, but with the image source deduplicated for more context if you want. Next, we want to see, we said that on average we have like about 35 images per URL, but how are they distributed? Okay, so these are the top URLs that have the most images, 126, nothing interesting here. It's just, good to see and see how they're distributed. Sometimes you might have like 5,000 images on one URL, and that might be a bug somewhere. So this, we can plot it on a chart and see the images per URL. So as you can see here, we have 2 clusters. The majority of images of pages have 40 images on URL, 42, 43, and we have 1,512 URLs with just 1 image on them. So we can easily, check this interactively. Okay. So image per URL, where image per URL is equal to 1. Okay, so here's a bunch of URLs where we have just 1 image. We can just go through them. This is a report, presidential commission. Okay, so we know a bit about where these images are occurring, what kind of pages they are, and you can dig further. Another important thing you might want to analyze is how descriptive the alt attributes are. And the first thing we can do is we can split those alt attributes and count the words in them. Okay, so this is the number of words per alt tag. So the alt tags, the alt attributes with 96 words, so we have like 16,000 of them. Okay, so we can look at the very low end over here, and we see 45,000 images where the alt attribute is 0, which makes sense as we found out a few moments ago. Another thing is to see, to have those to extract those images. Okay, so we can have all the images with alt attribute. Sorry for that. Containing less than 2 words. So we have 66,000 of those, and we have 9,000 unique. Okay, and here they are. This is where they're located. This is the image source, and this is the alt attribute. So we can look at these alts and say, what are the most used ones here? Value counts, and you see here that these are the most used alt attributes, and you can analyze further. We can look further into the text of these alt attributes, and we can look at the n-grams. So these are the most used words in those alts: image, green, orange, sample, space. I found it interesting that orange and green have been used 48,000 times. So I looked here and filtered all the images that contain orange, and then counted them, and then it's not that surprising. So this image has been used 16,000 times. Okay, so we can look at this, and at number 0 here, and if we search for the word orange, we'll realize that this has been used 3 times in the same description. Okay, 3 times 16,000 is about 48,000, which is this, so it makes sense. Same thing, we could look at trigrams for a better description: space launch system of the image on the right, assembly building at, etc. And you can learn more about these. We can look at the images with no alt attribute and how many times they've been, like, is this just a logo or a tiny thing, or is it like an important image? You can take a look. For example, this image has been used 8,000 times. It would be great to have a description of these people. They're scientists, astronauts, whatever. This would be interesting, and so on. We can also look at where these images are hosted. So we take the image URLs, the source attribute, and split it into network location, path, query, fragment, directory 1, 2, 3, and the last directory here, which is usually the file name. And if we have any query parameters over here, and then we can count the domains, and we can see where these are mostly hosted. So we have 20,000 of those on nasa.gov, 1,394 on image assets, and so on, if you want to dig deeper here. Finally, we can get a context about these images. We can merge them with the first crawl data frame, which is this one. And I merged the URL, the title tag of the page, the H1, the image alt, and the file name. And so we can see here if these make sense together. Hubble IRAS something, Hubble views a massive star, Glenn research, and you can decide if this is coherent or if you want to make any changes. Career day blank, careers maybe makes sense, and so on. Okay, and then you can convert this to a nice looking report with no code except for this to show how we crawled. And you can present this without all the noise. The charts are still interactive, so you can zoom in and out, and like this, double click back. And this is our final one where we have the context of the images. Yep, that's it. Hope you liked it. Thank you very much.